Hi guys, I'm ExactChaos and welcome to my Opinionated Facts, a review of Production Line. This is a brand new game that just released on Steam and it is awesome. I am loving it. Spent a few hours with it and it is great. I am really loving it. So basically, what is this game? It is a tycoon game where you build your own car automated factory. And the production line that goes along with such a facility. It is at the moment just a single player game, and it is similar to something like Big Pharma, where you've also had kind of a production line, but it is much, much deeper in terms of gameplay. It is so much better than that. It's got so much depth. Okay, so let's run through this process ever so quickly. So basically, what we're doing is we're assembling chassis. We're assembling bodies, we're spraying the cars, we're fitting the engines over here when there's no cars being fitted. We are fitting accessories, lights, sound, etc. And then through lights, sound, seats, windshields, dashboards, and then we're fitting the electronics and we're doing the quality control, and the car runs all the way into the export and onto the showroom and where it gets sold. Okay, so that's the basic thing, right? Okay, so let me open up this. This is the slots, and this is the various slots in the production line. So, oh, hang on. Okay, rival companies have researched keyless entry. This tech is now common. Okay, I'll get to that thing, but bear that in mind. I'll get to that now. Okay, so basically, let's go through the slots in a production line for a car. So first things first, you import resources, which is fine. Then you assemble the chassis, fit the body, paint the car, fit the engine, fit the accessories, and fit the electronics, do the quality check, and export the car. Simple, right? So I'll build all of those and it'll work and it's great. No. It is much more than that. So if we look at this process takes 12 minutes, that one 30 minutes, this one 34 minutes, this one 20 minutes, this one 14 minutes. So obviously what you end up having is chassis standing around waiting for the next process, because that takes longer, and the next one, and the next one, and so on and so on. And if you thought that, okay, fine, so I can do the math, I'll run out all of these in the right kind of ratios, and there we go, you'd be wrong again. Because each one of these processes have sub-processes. So once you research it, you can then break the production line into more and more components. So now it's the chassis is fit axles, fit undercarriages, and fit fuel tanks. So instead of one process building a chassis, you have three. Okay, and then that one breaks up into more. Okay, and the same thing goes for body and so on and so on. So you can see it is an endless amount of stuff that you can do to improve the efficiency of your production line. Okay, so now let's go to where this all comes from, the research menu or window. Right? So accessory specialization, body specialization, chassis specialization. So all of those things that I was talking about. So this one gets the new slots: fit roof, fit doors, fit body. So you change one slot or one process into three, right? And that gets more and more efficient, but it takes more and more. It gets more and more complex, and it takes more and more space. Also, apart from just the processes, you also have to research technologies. So anti-lock brakes and spare wheels and driver airbags and air conditioning and heaters and sunroofs and so on. There's so many features that you need to to research. Okay, and as if that isn't bad enough, you have a constant rivalry with, or you have a constant chase in the technology with your rivals, right? So if I have a look here, right, so that little icon over there says that I believe this is now universal. Multiple guys have this, right? So it's now common. And I'm not sure what they actually mean, but basically it comes down to some rivals have this, no one has this, someone has this, a few have this, and all of them have this, right? So, okay, so let's go to the cars that we have been producing. So this is the car that I'm producing, and every new car that you run off the line shows its features, and you can name it and so on. So basically, This is a basic car and it has a heater. That's its only feature. I'm falling behind in terms of technology immensely. So it's got a heater. This heater is now universal, as is a universal feature. So any cars that don't have this feature is basically considered to be of less value. Okay, so what you have, okay, so here I can see. So in this guy, rival companies have researched keyless entry. The tech is now universal. So all cars need to have keyless entry now. Okay, so my car has a heater, which is good. It's universal. But it doesn't have all of these. It doesn't have car alarm, in-car music, keyless entry, or power steering. So we're losing value on the car for each one of those components that's not in there. On the other side of the spectrum, you can also research technologies first, and then your car gets more valuable as opposed to those of your rivals because you've got features that they do not have. So that's the constant, I think, chase that you've got over here. And that basically runs into the good parts of this game. So the depth of this game is immense. I think I was just kind of mucking around with a production line, but I quickly ran out of space because I didn't know that I needed to kind of have so many processes. So it's endless. The complexity of fitting it all together in terms of space and efficiency, timing, that kind of thing will be awesome. I think it's going to be very replayable because of that. It'll also be very replayable because of the numerous strategies you can follow. You can basically say, what kind of a car manufacturer am I going to be? Am I going to be luxury German sedan kind of thing? So am I going to have the top and best, greatest features in all the cars? Am I going to go to the technology window and chase all the way to the end, right? All the way to the end and try and get there as quickly as possible so that that's where I make my money? Or am I going to go to the processes point of view and just run it as quickly as possible to get the most efficient processes so I can get the most number of basic cars off my lot and make money through those kind of economies? Or am I going to fit it somewhere in between? I think it will ultimately be somewhere in between, but which side of that spectrum are you going to play as? So there's numerous strategies of how you can do it, and that's very, very replayable. Okay, the stats now. Okay, basically, I love this view. So this is showing me that stuff is waiting around over here, right? So this process is very much quicker than those processes. These are pretty much even. These ones are even. And then there's a lot of processes over there that's not actually getting cars to them. So this all needs to move quicker to feed all of that. Okay, so that's the basic stuff behind it. But there's more. So here you can actually see, my machines are running this much time of the time waiting for the next vehicle, so a lot of time for that, waiting for resources and waiting for the next slot. So that kind of tells you. But there's also other stuff. 6 square meters per vehicle. Sorry, that's the wrong thing. Vehicle production per hour, 6 per hour. Slots running, 56%. Square meters per vehicle. So how efficient is your factory floor? Vehicles running, so running on this slot only 33% of the time. So these guys are waiting way too long. Okay, then you can also go into each individual kind of slot here and say, okay, well, this is running 90% of the time, waiting for resources like 8% of the time. And this is what it's showing you it's doing, right? It's running through each task. Now it's fitting the roof, right? And that's the time for fitting the roof. And as soon as that is finished, it goes on to fitting the door panels and so on and so on. And so you see what time it takes to build the body or fit the body. And this is where I get down where you actually break these into smaller elements. There's also upgrades you can do and so on and so on. Okay, so that's the awesome part of it. So it's really challenging. You are constantly trying to get this to work better, solve this problem, solve that problem, solve resources, etc., etc. It just keeps going. And you also need to keep up with the competition because now these components are universal, now those components are universal. It is awesome. I love it. Okay, the bad. There really isn't much in the line of bad. What I can say, however, It doesn't have a tutorial, so it'll take you a number of plays to kind of figure out how it works. And that's kind of what you see over here. This is not an awesome production line, it's just a production line. So I've now started to get the hang of it. So it'll take you a bit of time to get the hang of it. There's no kind of tutorial that runs you through how it's done or what you need or how this works or how that works. You kind of have to figure it out as you go along. Well, it's not the end of the world. I think I kind of see that as part of the fun and part of the replayability of things. Okay, so and then the one thing that I can probably say, it's not a big deal, but something that frustrates the hell out of me. This game demolishes something by right-clicking. Most games have right-clicking to go into properties of an element. So if I right-click, oh, there you go, I've sold it. I don't have it anymore. Now the next slot isn't found. So it's very easy to mess up your production line through this right-click delete or demolish thing, which I think is probably something that should be removed because there's a demolish button. You have to, if you do that, that also does the trick, right? So I think you should make a decision to actually go and demolish something. You shouldn't just randomly right click. So at the end of this, what is the verdict? This game is awesome, and I'm going to sink many hours into playing this game, trying to get it as efficient as possible, trying various strategies, technology, kind of high capacity output, etc., etc. It is great. If you liked games like Big Pharma, if you like the efficiency aspect of a game like Factorio, get this game because you will love it. Okay, that's me for this episode. I'm ExactChaos. This has been my opinionated facts about production line. It's awesome. Get it and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Bye-bye.